Hi everyone! In this week's episode, we're going to review France and its second part, which is basically the northern part, central and northern part of France. So with this video, episode number two on France, we're completing France and then we're jumping into Italy for next week. I'm Nicolas Seltzer, wine expert, and let's go to France 2. Okay, so we're now arriving into Bordeaux. This is one of the most famous wine growing regions around the world. Bordeaux produces some of the finest and most expensive wines that you can find. And it is influenced by the maritime climate that brings in the Atlantic Ocean. And it's an estuary called the Gironde, and it's divided into the right and the left bank. The type of wines that are produced in either the left bank, which is gravel soils, will be mainly made out of Cabernet Sauvignon, and in the right bank, it will be mainly made out of Merlot. This is because the type of soils are different and allows for the maximum potential of each of the grape varieties based on these particular soils. Now, production dates back to the Roman times, so it's been making wines for hundreds, almost thousands of years. And the wines from Bordeaux are blended. So the main grape used in the left bank will be Cabernet Sauvignon, and it makes some of the finest wines around the world. I will name some of them, like Lafite, Chateau Lafite Rothschild, Chateau Latour, Chateau Margaux, Chateau Haut-Brion, and Mouton Rothschild. These are wines that could easily cost $1,000 a bottle, and if it's an older item, a collectible one from a nice and good vintage, the wines could cost easily thousands of dollars. Now, the wines from the right bank, which has a clay and limestone soils, which are different and are very good for favoring Merlot, this also has some of the finest wines around the world, and a couple of them are Chateau Petrus and Chateau Cheval Blanc. Chateau Petrus, a bottle could cost easily $3,000 and up to $20,000 a bottle, whilst Cheval Blanc, you could pick one for $600 and up. So what I'm trying to say here is that Bordeaux really makes some of the finest wines around the world. Bordeaux also has a small area called Sauternes, and in this area they make white wines which are sweet and botrycized. This means that the wines are late harvested and they wait for a very late harvest until the wines have collected a high amount of sugars, which will basically be a sweet wine. Now, because of the concentration, the potential, and the way that the wines are made in Bordeaux, these are wines that have a lot of aging potential, and some people will buy these wines early and they will keep them for years and decades because they will grow in value through time. And based on this structure and concentration, they are wines that are very good for pairing with more complex foods and lamb, duck, all the rich dishes and all the rich sauces that will go perfectly with these wines that have a lot of concentration. So this is about Bordeaux, but make a note that if there's any opportunity to travel through France and you want to visit one of the most important, or probably the most important wine growing region in the world, try to make it to Bordeaux, because besides all the things that I've mentioned about the wines themselves, it's a beautiful, beautiful city. So this is Bordeaux, and let's go into our next city. So we will be traveling north through France, and we have this little region of Beaujolais. Beaujolais is a small region that it's well known for its Gamay grape. It's a grape variety that makes very light-bodied wine, food forward, and what makes it famous is basically what is called the Beaujolais Nouveau tradition. It's a launching of their wines every third Thursday of November each year, And these are wines that are picked, harvested, and made wine very quickly, easily bottled, and then released to the markets. Again, they are light-bodied, fruit-forward, nothing compared to what we just talked about, Bordeaux, full of concentration, wines that you could age. These are wines that are very easy to drink, and wines that you won't store for a long time. Rather, you pick it and you drink it. And then as we move north, we have the region of Alsace. This is in the border of France and Germany. And Alsace is an area or a location that has this German-French winemaking traditions. Actually, the wines made in Alsace are some of the most famous grape wine varieties made in Germany. They make very aromatic white wines from these grapes that are Riesling, Gewürztraminer, the most known, but also Pinot Gris and Muscat. And made in Alsace, they are wines that rather have a very good concentration, so they are food-friendly wines. The fact that they're more concentrated, they have more ability to be paired with different types of foods. And also different from Germany, the Riesling made in Germany, which is rather sweet, in Alsace is rather dry, so it doesn't have the same sweetness. So it's a Riesling, very dry, crisp, and mineral driven, which allows the wine to be aged and has this structure with aging potential. Another of the well-known wines, which actually this is a sparkling wine, will be the Crémant d'Alsace. It's a high-quality sparkling wine made using the same techniques that are made in Champagne to make their Champagne sparkling wine, but this is made in Alsace, Crémant d'Alsace. Our next stop in France will be in the center of France, the region of Burgundy. This is also a very famous wine growing region. It has very elegant red wines made from the Pinot Noir grape. It's cooler region as we go north, so Pinot Noir it's one of the grapes that requires more cooler climate. And white wines also that need cooler climate, made out of Chardonnay. These are the two classic grape varieties from Burgundy. Burgundy has a lot of emphasis on terroir. The vineyards are classified in regional plots and smaller. Each one will be classified into very small villages and even vineyards on its own. So they have a big sense on terroir on specific places. This is an area that has been involved with since the time of the Romans, and the medieval monks played a crucial role in the development of the Burgundy viticulture. And one of the most possibly outstanding features about Burgundy is some of the Pinot Noir collectible wines that they have, including one called Romanée Conti. A bottle of Romanée Conti, you will be picking up that bottle for about $6,000 or $7,000. And if it's a collectible item, it could easily cost over $20,000. So Burgundy, it's a very famous region for Chardonnay, but its Pinot Noir, it's really outstanding, possibly among the best Pinot Noirs that you could find around the world. Okay, we keep on moving. Now we're back to close to the Atlantic, and this is where the Loire River flows into mainland France. And we will have here in the Loire Valley a diverse styles of wine influenced by this coastal and river kind of climate. The Loire produces white, red, rosé, and sparkling wines, dessert wines as well. And the major grape varieties are Sauvignon Blanc, Chenin Blanc, this for white, and Cabernet Franc on reds. It's the second largest sparkling wine producing region in France after Champagne. And it's famous for its sparkling wine Crémant de Loire. And winemaking dates back also back to the Roman times. So we're coming through the end of our trip around France. In the northern part of France, we're going to be reviewing the region of Champagne. And Champagne is the only place in the world where true Champagne sparkling wine or cold Champagne sparkling wine could be produced. This is protected by very strict regulations, and it's also protected by the international intellectual property. And now, Champagne has very unique conditions in terms of its location. It's in the northern part of France. It's a cooler climate. It has chalky soils that contribute to that very distinctive minerality in the flavors that you have in the mouth when you're tasting champagne. They're very complex, they're very elegant, and they're very nice. Also, one of the other very relevant elements in champagne is the bubbles inside the bottle. They are made through what is called the traditional method, which is a secondary fermentation that happens in the bottle, and the CO2, instead of being released, is kept inside in the form of bubbles. And the bubbles formed with this secondary fermentation have a very unique and distinctive feeling or mouthfeel when you're tasting champagne. And that is another element that makes it very elegant, very unique, very soft, very balanced. So champagne is a very elegant, sparkling wine, unique to this particular location in France. You probably know about Dom Perignon. It's been featured in very many movies, and it's a very well-known champagne, very elegant, very expensive. Dom Perignon champagne could cost $600-800. Maybe a collectible year would be over $3,000-4,000 easily. And Dom Perignon was a monk in the late 1600s until the early 1700s. And he's credited to be one of the persons that invested a lot of time in technique in developing champagne. He made a lot of different blendings and coming up with some of the blends that are used today for making champagne out of the Chardonnay, Pinot Noir, and Pinot Meunier grapes. So champagne, this unique, very elegant, sparkling wine, is made only in Champagne and out of these grapes, Chardonnay, Pinot Noir, and Pinot Meunier. Another really interesting fact that is not related exactly to the wine itself is that Champagne, as a region, was given the status of World Heritage in 2015. This is because of the beauty of these vineyards planted in the hillside and the beauty of the city, the houses, the cellars. Everything surrounding Champagne is really, really beautiful. So if you ever have a chance to visit and taste the champagne in Champagne, that will be a phenomenal experience. So this is the end of our trip, and thank you for visiting France together with Nicolas Sasser. Cheers. So for this week's concepts to remember, we will check on each valley. In Bordeaux, we have the left bank, which is Cabernet Sauvignon blended wines, and the right bank is based in Merlot. And then there's this smaller area called Sauternes, which is where they made late harvest wines, sweet wines. Then Beaujolais, it's known for its Beaujolais Nouveau wine made out of the Gamay grape. And then in Alsace, it's the Cremant, which is a sparkling wine from Alsace, and these French Rieslings. Rieslings is from mainly Germany, and they are in the border. Alsace is in the border with Germany, and this very crisp and very refreshing, very high-end Riesling. Then we have Burgundy, which makes phenomenal Pinot Noir, like the Romanée Conti wine, which is the most expensive Pinot Noir in the world, and fantastic Chardonnays. Then we have the Loire Valley in the upper north by the Atlantic, which has diverse grape varieties, but Sauvignon Blanc is their focus. And we end up the trip with Champagne. This is the only region where Champagne wine is made, sparkling wine. And sparkling, it's only made by the Méthode Traditionnelle, which is the traditional method where they leave the sparkling because of the CO2 that is left inside the bottle. So this is our concept to remember this week. We're jumping to Italy next week. And don't forget to give me a like, share the video, subscribe, and make me comments. Cheers. See you next week.